joining us right now from, are you in Port St. Lucie, Ron Darling? Are you down there already?
I'm not down there till Friday,
Okay.
and I was just wondering, since it's Margarita Day,
Yes.
are you a tequila guy, or do you go out on a limb and maybe try mezcal?
Well, Ron, I'll tell you, because I don't know if you and I have ever hung out at a bar together, but tequila.
I don't think we have.
Tequila is a night ender for me. The minute the minute it touched my lips, I might as well just be passed out. Honestly, it's not a good thing for me. Tequila and I do not mix.
So it's more like a margarita minute of the day, not margarita moment.
Well, you know what? I just celebrate with friends, maybe with a Cabernet or a beer of some sort. I'll do that, a vodka drink, but tequila's no good for me, Ron. You know. I am mandated to ask you if you saw any of that in the clubhouse in the 80s with the New York Mets, Ron.
Yeah, it was just about everything, Rich. Yeah, it was full throttle in those days.
Yeah, I'm
but,
sure.
No, not in Port St. Lucie till Friday.
Okay.
So still in New York.
Okay, great. What do you think of the rule change that baseball's advocating and passed to get rid of the intention? The intentional walk is now just take your base by making a signal in the dugout, Ron.
Yeah, I really don't have too much problem with that. I know managers a lot because only bad things can happen with some of the pitchers who aren't able to execute a simple four-ball walk. But I have no problem with it. I just think that there's a lot of things that have been in the game for a long, long period of time, and certainly the four-ball walk, I have no problem.
Well, I mean, and on that regard, though, we just saw last night, Ron, where what was it? Stephen F. Austin beat Texas A&M,
yes,
right?
Texas A&M beat
Stephen F. Austin
yeah.
on two errant intentional walk pitches, bringing the runner home from second. I mean, so it happens.
And that young college pitcher is going to be mortified forever because now he's his place in history. It does happen. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen broadcasting a game. I've seen it happen on the field. And like I said, I mean, I know it can happen, and it has been a big part of the game. But if we're trying to quicken up the pace of play, some things are going to have to go away, and I guess this is one of them.
Well, I mean, then let's get to this then, Ron. Does pace of play really need to be picked up? Maybe, again, I'm a 47-year-old man.
Yeah.
I understand when I'm sitting down to watch a baseball game or going to one that, you know, pack a lunch or dinner, you know. I mean, I understand that's the case, and I actually find it wonderful in that regard. Do you think that pace of play does need to be picked up in baseball?
You know, listen, I'm a 57-year-old man, so I'm the same as you. In fact, in my line of work that I watch baseball games, sometimes 16, 17, 18-inning games are my favorites because they're historical in nature, and it's fun to do them. That being said, I think, you know, baseball has a lot of money. A lot of players are making a lot of money, but the demographic of people watching the game are you and I. And if you're going to try to attract some of the younger people who watch the game much differently than you and I do, I think that you're going to have the ball put in play more than 35 or 40% of the time.
So then and to me, I had this conversation with Harold Reynolds last week or 2 weeks ago on the show. Let's get the stars of the game out. That's how you can get this game to a different level. I mean, you're going to see in person shortly, Syndergaard, Noah Syndergaard. I mean, he's got the hair, he's got the delivery, he's got the 99-mile-an-hour fastball, he's got the personality, he's got the Twitter feed. Let's get him out there. Let's make sure that the Players Association tells him if he's. You tell me, is he a guy that will avoid the spotlight, or he's a star? And I think kids would just get a big kick out of seeing him all over the place. Bryce Harper, Mike Trout. I mean, there's young players all over the lot here, Ron.
No, I totally agree. I think one of the things that baseball always has done since the beginning of time is that, you know, the brand of the team is more important than the person who wears the uniform. But those times are changing, you know, and they should be changing. I think what young people want to see is they want to see the stars playing. I know young people, when they watch the game, they don't even watch the entire game. They'll YouTube it and go to certain aspects of the game where Mike Trout is hitting or Clayton Kershaw is pitching. they don't want to mess with the other nuances, as Tony Clark was talking about, of the game. So it's just a different generation of people watching. And I think, I've always felt in the past, didn't think the wild card was a great idea. Didn't think the second wild card was a great idea. I couldn't have been more wrong.
Me too.
And
I'm with you on that.
I'm starting to come the way of. I think the Players Association is going to have to get in front of this, because if they don't, I think Manfred is going to steamroll them on this issue.
Like which issue? The pace of play, or what do you mean?
I just think implementing, if they are not in front of it and try to get some things that will advance the game for the players,
right.
I think that Manfred is going to have an initiative, or feels like he should have an initiative, to quicken the pace of game through maybe some unilateral rules that he'll pass by himself.
Well, I hope it's not to put the man on second base to start extra innings.
No, we can't have that. Yeah,
that to me is crazy. All right, let's get into it, Ron. Ron Darling, okay. MLB Network, Sportsnet New York. I give you the Cubs versus the field. Who do you take?
Cubs.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I just think they're so special and so good, and they're in the right place at the right time. They have a manager that transcends how you communicate with today's athlete and player. There's just so much on their side. Now, are there other great teams, Boston, Cleveland, others? Yeah, certainly. But if I was a betting man, I would say that if I had to bet one team was going to get back to the World Series, it'd be the Cubs. And that's not an easy feat in today's postseason.
What about the Mets, team that you're going to see on Friday? I'm hearing Syndergaard has put on muscle, and that Harvey's dropped weight, and the kids are all those arms are ready to roll. I'm hearing that out of the Mets, Ron. What do you think?
The kids are all right?
They are. Well, they're not kids anymore.
I think that if their pitching is what it's supposed to be, I think they're going to be a special team. I think right now, the re-signing with Cespedes, they're a really good team. If their pitching comes through the way they think they can and the way they should because of their talent, they're going to be a special team. And if somehow they get the offensive production from Michael Conforto and Travis d'Arnaud, they could be one of the best teams in baseball. So that's the kind of triptych of events I think that could happen for the Mets.
And Boston, you say they're the front runners along with Cleveland in the American League?
Yeah, I think, the Sale edition is going to be amazing during the regular season, but can you imagine Boston in the post with Porcello, Price, and Sale? I think that's pretty formidable. But when I look at Red Sox, I look at them a little bit like the Cubs. They have been able to put together this great core of young players, much maybe like the Yankees were able to do in the mid-'90s, and that's I think that's going to rule baseball for a while. So you got
a dark horse, somebody that I know you haven't eyeballed these teams yet in spring training, but
yeah,
anybody that made some moves in the offseason, or you're just hearing a lot of groundswell about a team that could come out of nowhere and go on a run here this year?
Yeah, I think that interestingly enough, it didn't do anything. I'm high on, and I don't know why, other than the kind of confluence of events. Is the Detroit Tigers. I think that they have a lot of older players that are kind of at the tipping point. It's either now or never. Their beloved owner, Mike Ilitch, that they've tried to win a World Series for many years, has passed. And it would be an interesting thing if they were able to pull it together for one kind of run. I think Jordan Zimmerman, can't have the season he had last year. Verlander's back, of course. Fulmer, Rookie of the Year. Anibal Sanchez has to be better. And Norris and Boyd got a lot of experience last year. I don't know why there's no science to why I think I like the Tigers this year. And it's not about World Series, because I think you and I both know getting to the postseason is tough enough. World Series is a very hard pick. But I think the Tigers are going to be much better than you think.
Fantastic. Okay, Ron, appreciate the knowledge. Love having you on. I don't have you on enough. Please, let's talk more often. I saw your beautiful wife, Joanna, and at the Super Bowl, she showed me the picture of that beautiful kid that you have. My God, beautiful.
Well, thanks. I'll have a tequila, and you'll have a beer, and we'll talk about this pace of play at some point.
Okay. By the way, I do believe that was one of the worst Margaritaville songs of all time that you just mentioned right there. Fantastic.
I agree. See you later. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Ron. I appreciate the time. Thanks. That's Ron Darling of MLB Network.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.